So now there are just 8 humans on the entire planet. God blesses half of them. I'll let you guess which half. Hint, they don't have vaginas. Then God tells them to reproduce, because the world needs to be filled with humans again, after his pointless genocide. And he lays down some new rules for life on Earth. To be clear, he still thinks humans are evil. But he clearly resents the other animals, because he deliberately puts humans in charge of them anyway. He actually says all animals will fear humans. And even though humans did extremely well on plant-based diets, some living almost 1,000 years, he now tells them that they should kill and eat animals. For no reason whatsoever. So basically, God wants humans to tyrannize the planet. The only restriction is that when they eat flesh, they have to make sure there's no blood in it. Oh, and animals aren't allowed to fight back. Because if they kill a human, God is gonna kill them. So they're completely screwed, as per usual. When it comes to humans killing humans, God apparently doesn't feel like doing the revenge killing himself. But it still has to happen. So if human A murders human B, human C has to step in and do God's work by murdering human A. Of course, human C is now a murderer too. So you'd think human D has to murder human C, and then human E has to murder human D, etc. until there's only one human left. But God keeps talking about how he wants there to be many humans. So it seems like he didn't really think this through. He also verbalizes his promise about not repeating the genocide to Noah. He gets all fancy about it, calling it a covenant. But his promise is very specific. He just says that he will not kill everyone by covering the entire earth with water again. Which means that he can still kill in every other way without breaking his word. And it's not like he's always true to his word anyway. But this covenant is clearly very dear to him. And he wants to remind us about it forever. And you know how he does that? He invents the rainbow. So every time it rains and you see a rainbow, that's God saying, hey, don't worry buddy, it's just regular rain. I'm not flooding the earth again. And there are developments on the family front. Noah becomes a grandpa. His son Ham has a son named Canaan. But Noah has even more important things to focus on. Like getting drunk. It turns out that he's the first man on earth to plant a vineyard and make wine. And one day he's in his tent, naked, and he gets so drunk that he falls asleep. Now Ham just happens to see this. So he tells his brothers Shem and Japheth about it. And Shem and Japheth decide to cover Noah with his own coat. But apparently it's a really big deal that Noah is naked. Because they walk into the tent backwards to avoid seeing him before they put his coat on him. So when Noah wakes up, he realizes what has happened, thanks all of his sons for taking such good care of him, and checks himself into rehab. I'm kidding, there was no rehab. He actually explodes in anger and invents slavery. Yes, slavery. So, which of his family members do you think Noah enslaves? His wife and the other women who allowed him to fall asleep undressed? His son Ham, who saw him naked and dared to tell his brothers? His sons Shem and Japheth, who put his coat on him without his consent? Or perhaps his grandson Canaan? I'll give you 3 seconds to think about it. 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 3. The first slave in history is Canaan! It turns out Noah is angry at Ham for accidentally seeing him naked and telling his brothers. And what better way to punish Ham than by making his son a slave? And sure, Canaan is Noah's own grandson, but who cares? Not Noah. Noah is actually happy with his other sons. So in his rage-fueled rant, he first says that he wants Canaan to become Shem's slave. And then he says that he wants Canaan to become Japheth's slave. It's not entirely clear what's gonna happen. I guess God will mediate in this family dispute in his characteristically diplomatic way. For Noah, the story ends here though, because he dies. He's 950 years old when he takes his last breath. And I recognize that it's easy to remember him for all the bad things he did. He was God's minion during a genocide. He was an incompetent captain. He killed a whole bunch of his animal passengers. He was a drunk. And he made his own innocent grandson the first slave in history. So let's take the easy route and remember him just like that.